Welcome back. It's another Thursday, which means it's Heresy Thursday, and today we have... Oh, Lord. Okay, well, today we have this. Heresy Thursday, Termite Assault Drills are anything but boring. I mean, I'm looking at them, and... yeah, sure. Termite Assault Drills. They're definitely there. 100%. They are there. You cannot deny that they are there. But I would suggest that I'm not really that bothered about these, to be honest. I'm not all that fussed. There are more exciting things going on, especially since last week we missed Heresy Thursday. We missed it. We absolutely fumbled that one. Just dropped the ball all over the shop, gone out the window. Where did that analogy go? But last week's was way more interesting. So we're going to do a bait and switch, and we're going to cover that instead. Because last week was this chap right here. A man who once confided in a close colleague that he prefers it when Daddy makes all the decisions because he doesn't like to think too hard. It's... Little Horus Aximand! A good chunk of you are probably going to have absolutely no idea what that intro was in any way, shape or form. So, I mean, those of you who do, I'm hoping will just get a giggle at the reference. The rest of you, go and watch Taskmaster. I think most of it's on YouTube now. I think you can watch it wherever you are. It's really good. Anyway, this is Little Horus Aximand, and it's another Sons of Horus character, but we are building up to the battle for Beta-Garmon, so it kind of makes sense that he would show up as we've been having a whole, what's the phrase, a cavalcade of other such people who are involved in that conflict showing up, so obviously he had to turn up at some point, and I will say that as bare heads go, that is one of the more hardcore ones. That is pretty severe. It's pretty rough. But then again, he did have his face taken off. I mean, someone looked at him and said, I want to take his face off. This is just nothing. This is just references the video. What am I even doing? And they've done a good job there. They've done a good job of highlighting the fact that he's got a really mangled face because it was chopped off. That seam going across the top of the head is... It's gross in so many ways. I don't know what it is. It just looks really uncomfortable. Like, just really, really uncomfortable. Can you imagine just having a permanent ridge right above your skull? I feel like that would be irritating in the extreme. Plus, it's extra irritating for him because it's not as a result of some sort of accident. It's not due to misfortune, due to bad luck. Just one of those freak occurrences where, you know, something happens and you just get injured. You know, people get struck by lightning. It's just a thing. It's just a thing that happens. It's rare, but it happens. That's not the case here. He got his face chopped off. Someone just fully sliced him up, and that's got to make it worse. Could also be argued that if you don't go traitor and turn against the Emperor, then, you know, you won't get your face chopped off. Well, that's not true. That's not true either. I mean, it's Horus Heresy / Warhammer 40k. Like, all rolled into it is just one big ball of awful, and I would argue that you have significantly more chance of having your face chopped off in just the Warhammer universe as a whole, no matter who you are, than in, like, our world. So maybe that's a bit too far. But either way, it looks great in a horrible way. And that's the important bit, isn't it? I like the creeping in of chaos that we've got, like the spikes on the shoulder pads, those kind of, I don't know, they sort of hearken to a future that is yet to come to pass, don't they? At some point, a lot of these lads will end up absolutely bristling in spikes and spiky bits and just things covering their armour to make them more scary or more, you know, spiky. This is kind of building up to that, which I do like, but it's not fully there yet. The helm is cool. I do like the helm. It's got a really nice style to it. All the kind of spiked studs across the forehead and the side, with the tusks off to the side as well. I do like that a lot. It's a fun helm. I'm trying to remember what any of the descriptions of his armour were in the books. I'm trying to remember that. I honestly can't. So I could not tell you whether the helm is accurate to what has been described or not. I wouldn't be able to make that call because I just can't remember off the top of my head. I quite like the fact that the sword is mostly plain and utilitarian, but we've got a little bit of extra going on there. There's just a little skull on the crossguard there, but nothing like too excessive. The shield is, I mean, it's a little bit silly. But then again, to be fair, a lot of shield-based things in all forms of Warhammer are kind of silly. I think the most sensible shields they've ever done are like the Breacher shields for Horus Heresy. A lot of them just are like clearly meant to be a technological marvel and not an actual like traditional shield. So I'm not too fussed about that. besides, the integration of the Eye of Horus on there is pretty cool. Yeah, like the armor's really nice, the big eye in the center, that works really well. I mean, overall, I like it. I do like it. It is a cool model, for sure. I do really like the pose as well. The pose is solid. That kind of bracing of the shield with the sword ready down by the side, that's quite nice. Also, the lean into it really makes it look like he's kind of like weathering incoming fire. I like that a lot. That's a very, it's like a strong pose, but it's not like a typical heroic pose. There's no like tactical rock stuff going on. It looks like someone who is just in the action, which I like a lot. I much prefer that sort of thing. I'll be honest, I've been struggling to kind of... I think we're at Mark 4. We at Mark 4 for Little Horus Aximand? I think we are, aren't we? It's a little tricky for me to tell, to be honest. There's a lot of extra decoration going on the armour. You know, we've got, like... We do have those kind of chaosy-esque spikes, like the kind of eye motif as well, on one greave there, which is kind of throwing me off, because it kind of extends over the knee pads and stuff. It sort of hides the shape a little bit of the legs, but... I think that's where we're at. I could be totally wrong, though. Let's be honest, you're ready for it. You're ready for me to be totally wrong, because it happens all the time. There's nothing new there. So, yeah, I think that's where we're at. But I wouldn't like to put money on it. Let's put it that way. Wouldn't like to put, like, cold, hard cash on it. Now, something that we don't often focus on these days is just rules attached to models, because I don't get to play anywhere near as much as I would like to, and a lot of the time, my thing is less, oh, how good is the rule, and more, is this model fun, and can I make an entire army out of it, which is why I have so many stupid Mega Gargons now. But I really like this little bit of a little bit of narrative of fun there. But I really like this little bit of, just a bit of narrative spice. Oh, in fact, they even say, you know what, I hadn't even read this. They even use the word spice as well. Great minds, great minds. So, Haunted, following the betrayal of his brethren upon Isvan III, Horus Aximand was racked with guilt, seemingly haunted by the ghost of his former mournable brother Garviel Loken, best boy. Following his discovery that Loken still lived, the paths and blades would cross again before the conclusion of the conflict. If Garviel Loken is removed as a casualty, whilst locked in combat with Horus Aximand, or any unit he has joined, then little Horus Aximand's controlling player, I added a little in there and I don't know why, gains +1 bonus victory point in addition to any others that might be gained from this. The bonus is increased to +2 bonus victory points if Garviel Loken is removed as a casualty while engaged in a challenge with Horus Aximand. That is perfect. I love that. I genuinely love it. Just a little bit of like building the narrative into the rules and just adding to that whole conflict between the two and making it like a, not something to be 100% focused on, but if it happens, there is a cool bonus that comes along with that thing happening. Love that. Absolutely love it. That's great. So there you go. Little Horus Aximand with his mangled face. What do we reckon? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you just glad that we've finally decided to talk about this even though it's a week late? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.